Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video via social media and with your friends via email. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Today, I read an article on Yahoo Finance put out by MoneyWise and written by Sarah Lewis, titled, "A Lot of Cold Feet. Homebuyers are backing out of deals at the highest rate on record. Here's what's driving that trend." The author of this article referenced Redfin, who saw about 54,000 home purchase agreements fall through in October, or 17.2%. This is the highest percentage on record for Redfin. The author quotes Redfin's sales manager, Eric Osiello, as saying, "I'm seeing a lot of cold feet. Home prices are high, mortgage rates are high, and insurance costs are high. And when buyers see the final number, a lot of them are backing out." Here are my thoughts. I really wonder how some of these buyers are getting out of these deals. Are they giving up their earnest money? Are they not worried about being sued for specific performance? For those of you who don't know what that means, it is when a court issues an order for the buyer to specifically perform according to the terms of the contract. I suppose some buyers may get a letter from their lender saying they don't qualify for the loan to buy the house. I talked to a lender once who told me he has written plenty of those letters for buyers who changed their mind. He said the sellers and real estate list agents typically didn't dispute the letters he wrote in the past. A letter of pre-approval is often not worth much until a buyer goes through the underwriting process and their entire financial life is put under the microscope. Many real estate agents understand this, so they probably wouldn't dispute a letter from the lender saying that the buyer is not qualified to buy the home. In such an instance, the buyer could possibly get his or her earnest money back, depending on the language specified in the purchase agreement. I suppose it is possible some buyers got a quote from an insurance company and the cost was going to be so much that it wasn't possible for them to get approved for the mortgage. If the mortgage company was projecting a certain dollar amount for insurance and it turned out being thousands of dollars more than that in reality, the buyer may no longer qualify for the loan. We have all been hearing about increasing insurance rates, especially in high-risk states where some carriers have pulled out. I think this could be a possibility in some instances. I feel bad for the real estate agents who depend on commissions to support their families. Imagine working with buyer clients for a considerable amount of time and hoping that the transaction is going to close so that you can finally get paid, and then the buyers back out. Real estate agents have a lot invested in these transactions. Many are driving around buyer clients for weeks or months, looking at homes, wasting gas money. Many spend a lot of time writing offers that don't get accepted. It has to be extremely disappointing for real estate agents when their transactions don't close. I think this has to be even more disappointing now, especially since the market has slowed so much. Isn't it interesting that we are hearing about people getting cold feet when purchasing real estate right now? This is so different than what we all lived through in the past few years when people were doing anything to buy a home. Many people were writing love letters to sellers, trying to convince them that their family would take good care of their home. People were waiving inspections, paying over list price, and bridging the gap between the selling price and the appraised value. It's such an interesting turn of events. Now keep in mind that the article that I'm referencing today is only talking about one real estate company, Redfin, and they saw 54,000 purchase agreements fall through. That's really a drop in the bucket when compared to how many transactions are happening across the United States. But it is something that deserves attention nonetheless. Do you know anyone who recently backed out of their home purchase? If so, tell me about it in the comments section below. While some everyday Americans are thinking twice before buying a home, there are other Americans who are struggling to pay for the holidays. I read an article today on yahoo.com put out by the Associated Press and written by Cora Lewis titled, "More Americans are expected to buy now, pay later for the holidays." Analysts see a growing risk. According to the author, consumers are expected to use buy now, pay later payment plans heavily this holiday season, a forecast that bodes well for retailers, but has credit experts sounding the alarm bells. I'm going to stop right here and agree with the credit experts. I think this is a scary thought. I hate to see people going into debt to pay for their holiday purchases. I want the best for people, and some do not need to go further into debt. In my opinion, it is possible to get together with loved ones for the holidays and do simple things together. You don't have to go all out with some huge spread of food and all types of expensive presents. Now, you might be wondering how some everyday Americans use these buy now, pay later services. Well, the author of this article goes on to say short-term installment loans drove $6.4 billion of online spending in October, up 6% year over year. This was according to a recent Adobe Analytics report on online shopping. Adobe expects usage to peak in November with spending of $9.3 billion, including a single-day record of $782 million on Cyber Monday. Overall, Adobe estimates 1 in 5 Americans plan to use buy now, pay later plans to purchase holiday gifts. Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe that 1 in 5 Americans plan to use buy now, pay later services this holiday season? This is just scary to me. If you can't afford it, you shouldn't buy it. If you really think you need it, do some part-time work for someone prior to the holidays to earn some extra money. For example, if you don't have the money to buy your children a couple of toys that you know they really want, then go out and get a part-time job for a short period of time to earn some extra money to buy the gifts that will make them happy. There are some companies who are looking for holiday help. If you don't have luck with that, see if there are some odd jobs that you could do for people in your area. You could organize somebody's garage, you could wash all the windows on their house, you could detail somebody's car, you could rake up leaves in someone's yard. There are people out there who don't want to pay for expensive contractors to do work for them. Some contractors won't even return your calls for small jobs. There is work out there if you look hard enough to find it. I think this would be better than using buy now, pay later services and going further into debt. I'm not alone in this thinking. I read some comments beneath this article and I'll share some of them with you. One commenter writes, "Too many Americans, both individuals and government, have lost the concept of not spending money you don't have." Another commenter writes, "I'll bet these folks that can't afford this stuff stopped at Starbucks on the way to the mall, texted a friend on their iPhone 15, and had Uber Eats deliver dinner to them." The next commenter writes, "If you don't have all the money before you buy it, you cannot afford it. Learn how to be an adult and tell yourself no. Buying gifts for people is a terrible reason to take on more debt." The last commenter said, "If you don't have enough money in December, how will you have enough money in January?" Well, I couldn't agree more with that one. What do you think? Do you know people who are using buy now, pay later services to cover the cost of their holiday shopping? If so, tell me about it in the comment section below. There are probably some people who wanted to use buy now, pay later services yesterday, but their shopping was interrupted by a bomb threat. I read an article today on CNBC.com written by Gabriel Fonrouge titled, "American Dream Mall in New Jersey Briefly Evacuated on Black Friday Over Bomb Threat." According to the author, New Jersey's American Dream Mall, the second largest mall in the country, was briefly evacuated on Friday because of a bomb threat, according to the state's governor. Here are my thoughts. This mall doesn't need any more problems. If you look online, there are multiple articles about lawsuits associated with this mall. They have had financial problems as well. Back on September 19th, 2023, Bloomberg put out an article saying this mega mall lost $245 million as financial expenses ballooned. They need to do whatever they can to attract more shoppers. Shoppers don't need to be scared because of a bomb threat. When I read this article about the bomb threat at the mall, it brought back memories of when I taught high school decades ago while working on my Ph.D. at night. During that time, there were often kids who would call in bomb threats because they wanted to get out of high school for the day. We were always evacuated out of the building and told to go sit on the bleachers at the football field. One of the other teachers I worked with said if a real bomber really wanted to cause some damage and hurt a lot of people, he or she would put the bomb under the high school bleachers because that is where we were always evacuated to. Fortunately, there was never a real bomb at the high school. Sometimes the school was able to catch some of these kids who called in these bomb threats, but not always. Teaching high school was never boring, that's for sure. I wonder if the American Dream Mall will stay afloat long term. So many malls in the United States have been struggling as consumer behavior has shifted to buying products online. I'm curious, have any of you ever been to the American Dream Mall? Do you think it will survive long term while many other malls across the country have shut their doors for good? Tell me about it in the comments section below. Please keep in mind, nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video via social media or via email with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I also want to thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.